Well, we got everything you like as long as you like science explorers. 4 on the deck, 2 more in the sky, 3 more in the sky. Only 1 shuttle. Wow. Really nasty planet. Sure, please. Alright, I think I'm gonna reload this save because it's giving me nothing but explorers and haulers and everything but my ships.
So, any luck?
I found the Falcon Flyer, but it's not coming back up. I'm down to like 4 ships left.
The Puddle Jumper.
We need the Puddle Jumper, the TIE Interceptor, Miku spacecraft, and the Luminary space starship.
Sweet.
And at least there's Evil Gravity. one of the Vipers from Battlestar Galactica, Invader Zim's boot cruiser.
Oh, you found that? Oh, sweet!
Battlestar Galactica, Viper Mark 7. I did give these a little bit of a glow on the rear. It's nothing too much. For the most part, I left them kind of as they are. And the boot cruiser with Gur in the passenger seat, ready to run amok.
Sweet! Do you want me to jump on real quick and check the volume?
This is a really nice looking planet if it weren't for the insane amount of heat distorting the vision. On to the next system. An M9 planet system with a lot of planets. M9 star system, rather. Any better? Natalie, welcome back. Yay! My wife is reporting to me that there's some weird static on my new microphone. I hope I've gotten that fixed. Oh, and I got a new microphone now, so yay. Should be working well all the way around. So we've got 4 ships left that I'm looking for. One of them is Miku's space capsule, which is the Jetson-looking ship with the anime character livery.
I'll fix.
Livery, however you want to say it. That was fresh.
But yeah, whatever that noise you were picking up is gone now, so you're good.
Okay. It is so dark here, I can barely see. Vanilla ships. It's all vanilla ships.
How excited were you when I brought up the flight of the Navigator?
Natalie brought up a model in the cove for me to work on next. It's the flight of the Navigator ship. It was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. As much as I want to date myself, and I've always wanted to put that ship in. I just never thought anybody would recognize it. I always thought people would be like, what's the silver teardrop doing in No Man's Sky? But yeah, I think I'm going to give it a go. It definitely looks like it's an easy enough model. I could probably make it from scratch.
I think it's good attempt.
I was very excited to see that idea.
Oh. Puddle jumper. But we need chrome texture somehow.
But we need new chrome textures, Natalie says. I don't know if we do or not. I think we could probably get away with just kind of working the normals the way the game does. I mean, if you look at that reflection in the lights, that we could probably work with that and set some sort of normals on the chrome materials. I think it would be alright. It is back on. Welcome back, Golden Atlas. This, I do believe, should be my last installation of my test. I've got 4 ships left to go. My new mic is hooked up and working good.
Fantastic.
And yeah, we're ready to rock and roll. So as long as I don't get a work call, knocking on wood here, we should be all set.
You make shiny metal.
Shiny metal, yes. We could also add just a little bit of the wavy material to the ship to kind of give it that extra liquidy look that it had in the movie.
And what ship are we talking about? I need to go Google this.
The flight of the Navigator ship. Yeah, you might have to because you fell asleep every time we tried to watch it.
It just makes me think of the Bumblebee song. So here's the leaked part of the lore book beginning made on my Discord. Where is it?
Oh, looks like Golden Atlas is gonna leak some of his lore book that he's working on Discord.
super big with
Said it's super big with 112 floors and holograms everywhere. How can they afford it?
Silica says, well, they don't give a shit about us. They give a shit about themselves.
We walk to the Atlas. It's the biggest chamber in the solar system. 4 guards are guarding the door. Thomas has 2 knives.
2 knives, you say?
Go left.
No, Thomas, go right.
No, go left.
Just don't go
Check
up the
inventory.
stairs.
Oh, this isn't a mud? Sorry. I got carried away. That sounds like a good story, Golden Atlas. I like it.
Seriously.
You're doing good.
I am Thomas. Put your knives down and grab a gun.
Oh, we got the Pfizer ship. This came out of Wipeout HD. And I got a couple more Wipeout ships to add in. They may be in 3.0. And this is also proc gen, so the colors will be different depending on different systems. Bye, jellyfish.
Bye, Jelly.
Golden Atlas says, I love that Pfizer ship. Are you referring to this one over here, the Pfizer? Feisar. Was named by the guys at Wipeout, or Prognosis Studios, I believe, is the creators of that. But gave it really simple effects. This was kind of an early project while I was still learning things. Still waiting for that Falcon flyer to show up.
And you're down to 4, correct?
Yeah. Natalie says there's a pretty cool app game for smartphones called Seed Ship. It's a story text game about finding a new home for humans and your AI on the ship. That sounds interesting. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, the creator probably wants it to be his creation and doesn't want any input or feedback.
Yeah, some people are like that. Some people
And,
enjoy the feedback, some don't.
If that's the way you feel, I mean, you get to keep your product the way you want it, but at the same time, don't be butthurt when
Not everybody.
it could have been better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind getting ideas. Even requests are okay. Even though sometimes the requests do become redundant, and I feel the answer a lot. The ones I don't like so much are, oh, I don't like that ship, I'd rather have this instead. And it's like, why do you need it instead? I'm adding so many different ships. I've got 32 different ships in here. I can add one more. I don't need to replace something to add something new. But it feels like it belittles the work. Well, if you're able to make those ideas work, you can always take them and do your own thing with them. I not a lawyer, but I do know copyright, as long as you change something more than 10%, you can claim it as yourself or your own. The rotation on these parts took a little bit to get down. I had to watch the movie itself, and a couple different scenes I was able to finally look at it and see that yes, in fact, the rear wings do rotate, and I hope I got the rotation directions correct. I know the speeds are a little bit off, but it's good enough. Thank you, Natalie. I love the ripple on the jellyfish too. I mean, I got you the thank for that. You're the one that showed me that the materials could be manipulated like a fluid, and sent me off to dig through the game files to find out how to do that. Not to mention, you gave me the assistance on tuning down the frequency, so everything worked right. Golden Atlas says, whenever I make a suggestion to a game developer, I explain the ideas in a lot of details, then explain how it could easily be implemented so I can warm the devs up to the idea. I do agree with that as well. If you can pitch them ideas or solutions so they don't have to figure it out themselves, they're definitely more prone to listen to it. Doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna. Could I make the Superman pod that he took to Earth? I might be able to. Depends on how complex it is. I'd have to find images of it online. I have not found the 3D model of it, so I'd have to make it myself. Natalie says the frequency research took a few days, referring to the material files that jellyfish ship used. And I'm not surprised it took a few days. I mean, I spent a few hours trying to crack it myself, and I was going nowhere fast. I was getting the XYZ portion of things down right. The speed, I was kind of getting okay, but everything else just looked really wonky. I mean, the first time I tried it was with the Pod Racer lightning effects, and it just made my entire hangar bay look like it was being electrified by a Tesla coil. So oh, cool. Thanks for sending me the ship file. I'll take a look at that. But that is something I think I want to try on my own, just because it looks like it's going to be a simple project. And it'd be nice to be able to have something that I made from scratch in here besides my hollow HUD cockpit. I did not know that the models had to be exported in a certain direction for the ripple to work right. I thought that could be adjusted with the XYZ values in the material. That's important to know. I guess I got lucky. Hey, there's the Stargate puddle jumper. Super simple. No effects involved at all.
Nice. There's another. Your mic doesn't start to pick up until you start.
So this was a big request by a lot of players. I've never been too much of a fan of the series, but I got enough requests for it, enough people want it, I'll add it. Golden Atlas asks what this is. This is the Puddle Jumper from Stargate Atlantis. Or is it just Stargate? Like I said, I'm not a fan. Not too much anyways. So I'm not sure which it's from, but it is a Stargate related.
You found the Puddle Jumper?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, my sheet's over here. Sorry.
Nice.
Cross that off my list.
What's that one? What's this one?
Puddle Jumper.
Why was I thinking it was going to look so much different? Like, it would have, like, frog legs or some kind of something?
Because Puddle Jumper sounds like a frog? It does look like an escape pod, and actually since I added it and shown some screenshots of it, I've had people ask me to make some sort of escape pod mod where you use the escape pod to leave your freighter and go down to the planet. But
Instead of being in your ship?
I'm sure we all know that that's just not going to work because you need your ship, and the game mechanics don't support that kind of feature anyways. But hey, I can make a ship that looks like an escape pod, and you can use that to go from your freighter to the planet. Natalie says, I'd love to make some organic ships, and I agree. I've actually seen some biomechanical ships, and they look rather interesting. Your Mantis, I think, would make a really great ship. Not Mantis, your Manta Ray, rather. Where am I going? I just got here. I'm looking for a trade station. All these extreme weather planets, trade stations are either 200 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Celsius below zero.
That'd be pretty cool. When your ship gets destroyed, you have an escape pod. It'll take you to a planet to where your ship crashed.
That would be pretty cool, Golden Atlas. I'm just not sure how you would work that into the game mechanics that are currently in place. It seems like there need to be some back-end coding done. And Natalie says, I have a ship somewhere that has a rib cage on top. Okay. I can see that. That's got to be really interesting. Make a thin layer mesh, kind of like this electricity, and have some sort of flesh transparency, opacity to it. That would look really cool. Hey, the Reaper FX. We've been seeing the regular one all day long, but here's the first one with the visual effects on it. The Tron frame added into it. Definitely more eye candy than the original. And speaking of eye candy, I put some on this ship as well. And this does glow slightly. but not too much. Nothing overbearing. My wife likes collecting red dots.
They're fun.
Alright, Golden Atlas says, well, basically the pod would just spawn next to the player, like you just got out of the pod. Okay, so it would be kind of like how you initiate the beginning of the game at your crash site and everything. You just have a pod as extra decoration or scenery props. And Natalie, I may consider organic ships. Maybe something like version 5 of this mod when I've got all the other ships I've got on my list done. We'll add in some biomechanical or some hybrid type ships. The colors match the little alien inside.
Oh, nice. You only have 3 ships left to find.
Yes, we're down to 3 ships now. Miku space capsule, which I really want to find because that's one of the ones from version 1 that I've made changes to.
Oh, that's a nice little cluster.
And they're circling something over there.
So you started with a total of 32 ships?
Yeah, started with 32 ships.
Down to the last 3.
Down to the last 3 now.
Now that she'll be glad to make some organic blood ships with tubes and bones for you.
Alright, what are we circling here? That? So there's a trade station nearby, but we're all going to circle the one landing pad over here.
Yeah, why not?
Brilliant.
And Golden said if you could add anything you wanted to the game and complete customization of ships.
Yes, I agree with you, Golden Atlas. I think a lot of players agree with you that they, if there's one thing they could have, it's to be able to build their own ship. Talk to a ship vendor that utilizes the blueprints that you found over time, and you can switch out wings and noses and all the different things to make your own custom ship. I do think that would be really cool. At the same time, I think that would kind of take away from hunting ships and trying to find that ship that you really like. Buzzard ships. There was definitely a carcass of some kind over there, because they're all still over there. I think I'm going to move on to another system just because it seems like the spawning ships are going over there instead of over here. An M9F. Finally found that M red star for you, Golden Atlas. Natalie says, yes, I always wanted to make custom ships and hunt for parts. And now we can make custom parts and go hunt for ships. And that's actually courtesy of, who is it? Monkey Man, Greg K. Wast, and anybody else that has worked on the No Man's Sky development kit, allowing us to export these models from Blender and import them into No Man's Sky. Golden Atlas says you would also have to either scan parts of ship to get parts. Yeah, the blueprint, or gathering the blueprint idea. And I'm also trying to work on making some sort of ship generator or ship vendor. Just something that you can talk to an NPC, and you don't get to select the ship, but you're presented a ship that you can trade or swap. And after enough interactions of it, you should be able to find the ship you're looking for a little easier than the testing that we're doing today. So far, I can only get the NPC to interact one time, not repeatedly, and it seems to offer the same ship in every system. So, a couple bugs to work out there. It's the Yeti.
Ooh, now I gotta find the Bigfoot.
Already found the Yeti.
Bigfoot goes with the Yeti. Does that sound good?
I see an exotic as well. Right there. Yeah, I think it's coming in for a landing. Yep. Exotic S-Class. Well, I'm also using Crispy, so pretty much everything is going to be S-Class with some really insane stats. But still, an exotic is not an everyday find. Well, I guess it is, but it's not that easy.
Quick, get it.
Sorry to disappoint Golden Atlas. I'm not going to grab that exotic because I'm trying to keep my 411% hyperdrive. Let's go to a blue planet. Or a blue star. Or red? No. Volkov mech. That was the name of the system.
Oh, bless you.
Three ships to go. TIE Interceptor, Luminari spaceship, and Miku space capsule.
Good now.
Alright, give me something new. I think I saw the Luminari the Luminari starship up there. Yep, right there. So that's 2 left to go. And the colors do match the glow effects that surround the ship. Natalie says, sorry if I was making too many suggestions and not talking about your ships. I love your ships. No worries, Natalie. You were not making too many suggestions.
Not at all.
Love your support. Love you being here to watch and enjoy. Your suggestions and requests are definitely well appreciated. Also love that ship, Golden Atlas says. There's a lot of ships in here that I love, more than we can have in game, and really that's where I've reached the point of ridiculousness with this mod. 32 ships. There's already more than 6 that I want to have in my fleet, and yeah, just not happening. So hey, at least there's other game modes. So there's that. Turbo Master, thank you for joining the conversation. I've installed your mod, but I don't have the models. Be sure to install both pack files from the mod. You will need to have the model pack. It's 50 megs or so. Otherwise, the game will crash trying to load the ships. You also need the ship gen pack file. Otherwise, the game will not be able to generate these ships and load them like they are here.
Is that one you picked?
Yes, this is Miku's space capsule. Miku is a character from Project Diva X.
So I can cross that off?
Mm-hmm. And this space capsule has been given a livery theme based on her. So I've added the little character to the cockpit to give a little bit more...
She's big-headed, but that's her character.
...characteristics to the ship. What'd you say?
Sorry, she's big-headed, but that's her character.
Yeah. My wife wanted a Jetsons type ship in the game, and when I saw this, I figured it was a nice compromise. And it is a tiny ship, but like I say, it's supposed to be like the Jetsons capsule, and their stuff was not that big. Alright, so we're down to the one last ship, the TIE Interceptor.
You already found the Luminaries?
Yes.
Well, you didn't cross it off.
And Turbo Master, it does work on creative mode. I'm actually in creative mode at the moment playing this. If you're still having any issues, I would suspect that it may be another mod conflict. If you're using any mods like More Exotics, More Exotics does not conflict with this. If you're using an all ship type mod, where it would force, like all explorers or all exotics, that would definitely conflict with this. any mods that edit the AI spaceship manager mbin file are going to conflict with this. Natalie says she loves how my wife works with me, wishes her girlfriend would work with her more. And it's just something my wife has accepted. She can either take it or leave it, and it's easier to enjoy it than be frustrated and bothered by it. So she tries to take a proactive stance.
The glass is half full. Plus, I get to find red dots.
Yes, and she likes to look for the red dots, which none are out and about right now.
You could turn it into a drinking game. Every time you find a new animal, you take a shot. I bet you she'll play then.
Or every time we find a new ship.
Or every time we find a new ship, yes. You're going to have fun one way or another, either later on tonight or during while you play.
Red dots. Yes, that's what we call them.
Red dots.
You should have heard my wife when we first started playing last January. We had to make a road trip to California, and it was bad enough that the terrain, just the open landscape of the Mojave Desert, reminded us of No Man's Sky and kind of traversing through the openness. But we found a rabbit. She would go, "Ooh, red dot." We found a coyote. She would, "Ooh, red dot." And I would have to remind her, no, I'm pretty sure somebody else has already discovered those. I think they're green dots.
But they're my red dots.
But they were her red dots. She was insistent on it. Natalie says, used to enjoy finding red dots when I actually played the game. And I remember those days too.
Yeah, they were fun.
It was a thing called Pathfinder, and it was much more enjoyable than Atlas for some reason. I can't explain why. Atlas gave us a lot more content to play with, to explore, but it's not the same. I don't know. I feel like I'm overwhelmed and confused all at the same time. And for those that say the character or the model, the pilot is too big for the model, while I do agree with you, it's a large-headed chibi style model, so it is supposed to be big. Plus, it fits with the big, large canopy. On to find the Interceptor.
The very last one.
Nice. I will have to check out the No Man's Sky rap by YouTube Dan Bull.
Somebody made a rap about No Man's Sky?
I guess so.
Right on.
Nice. Right at 4,000. I like that.
That is totally tubular.
Totally tubular.
Totally tubular.
Yeah, that's right, guys. We just went back to 1988. Don't worry. Give it about 15 minutes. It'll be totes ass. We'll be back in the 21st century.
I'm not a robot. I'm a robot. Am I a robot?
She is not a robot.
Did you program me?
I know this because I catch her passed out sometimes.
You didn't hit the refresh button right fast enough. Sleep mode took over.
Hibernation mode.
Hibernation mode. know for a fact I'm not, because I sleep unlike you and Ray Rod.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife will go to sleep, she'll wake up, and I'll still be working
Sorry.
on my mods.
I actually...
There's some biomechanical ships, right? It could be.
So why can't we, like, shoot those out of the sky, though? Remember how we've always tried?
I do not have the programming skills to make a wife. That would require the inner understandings of a female's mind, and
I don't even understand that.
I don't even think they quite have a concept of that.
Talk about a program, you'd have to get a lot of glitches and bugs worked out on.
Oh, the small girl in the robot is the small girl in the ship is a robot.
Oh, that
That
would
could
be
work too.
cool.
Hey, Gur's a robot in the Voot Cruiser, so yeah. Here's a example of the Trident in a normal skin. I have the skin set up to change different colors depending on the glow effects. But that hunter skin we saw earlier, regardless of whatever glow effect is on the ship, that green camo with the red boxes, that's static. That's going to be consistent for the hunter Trident. This is just a regular Trident.
Nice. Oh, my cover has not been blown as a robot.
The Trident's now female? Oh, okay. I thought all the ships were females. Just like cars, right?
Right.
Holy wow, that thing's big.
Oh, big dot. Big red dot. Go see what it is.
7 meters. Wow.
Oh, go jump on its back. Jump in your ship and go over. What's up, dude?
Oh, why couldn't you be the Interceptors?
Oh. Oh, that is totally awesome. You know, it'd be really cool. You know those flowers out there? If they were like the fly trap and they like the ships.
So I'm down to the last ship we're looking for, the TIE Interceptor. And so far, I've only found one thing I need to make an adjustment to before I put this mod out.
And that is?
The jellyfish.
Jellyfish.
Part of the round engine area is missing a panel.
Will that help you remember?
Natalie says she enjoys taking a break to watch this, and I enjoy the company. I enjoy the viewers and the support.
I get to find out.
And as long as you're enjoying it, it's even better, more of a bonus. Because sometimes I wonder, am I babbling too much? Am I too boring? Am I not saying enough? Did I just hear a cricket?
Are there snapping plants? Like ones that
No.
snap? Like a Venus flytrap
No.
type deal?
No, but that would be cool to have some sort of Venus flytrap type plant in the game. I don't know why they don't.
They have the whippy lashy plant.
Seriously, they got the little whippy plants that I hate so much.
So I mean, why not?
There's another Luminari spaceship, a starship. Nice, pretty blue color.
We need ground trains to dodge lasers and etc.
We need ground turrets to dodge lasers.
That's what you need to make is a mod that if you
that would make permadeath and survival a lot more difficult. A lot more difficult.
Are you going to another place?
But I think that could be done. I do think we could probably add turrets to ground-based stuff. We just need to use the locators. That's a cool idea, Natalie. We should give that a go.
Mod to give a player a model ship.
Mod to give the player a model. Oh, I would love to be able to do that. The closest I've been able to come to that is making models for the multiplayer model that gets displayed for the player. And that's because the game isn't told to draw any model at all for the player. If there was at least a file referenced for it, I could do something like that. Aside from that, the closest you can do is changing the backpack out like some other modders have done.
Natalie's gonna make the Venus flytrap plant.
Nice. Natalie said when we get the animations working, she'll go ahead and do the Venus flytraps. And I look forward to seeing that. Once we get animations working, I plan on adding the golden snitch into my ships mod. So players can fly the golden snitch from the Harry Potter game of Quidditch.
If they can catch it.
If you can find it and catch it.
If you can catch it. Because isn't that the trick, trying to catch that son of a bitch?
But I can't make it small like it's supposed to be. I gotta make it full size, because otherwise it just seems cheap and cheesy, right? I don't know, what do you guys think? If I put the golden snitch in, should I leave it super small or make it large size?
I don't know. What about the controls that portion on the light? Give that light source.
Golden asks about the controls position of the light. Talking about a light model. I think you're referring to the orb that is given for multiplayers. And I do have a mod that switches that orb to a monkey. Actually, one of two different monkeys. And I still need to test that mod before I release it. It's just not that easy for me to find another player in No Man's Sky. Come on, Interceptor. That's a UFO.
And this is the very last one. Until you make your next set of 32.
A lot of vanilla ships, except for the UFO. Natalie says maybe large size or medium for the golden snitch, and that I kind of agree. That's where I'm thinking too. Although it would be a real golden snitch if it were small, it would be unrealistic that we'd fit in there and fly it. And again, to my knowledge, we're just a photon of light anyway, so
Seriously.
maybe we're a ghost from never having survived the initial crash.
You're your spirit just floating around. Nice.
Show the bottom of the UFO really quick before it lands. Since I think I was talking earlier that's the tractor beam in the center is the Large Hadron Collider. It's Use the Large Hadron Collider as the texture for the tractor beam. Alright, so Golden Atlas is talking, I guess I had it wrong. He was talking about night with the flashlight and camera mode. You can see the light that's connected to players' positions. I've never noticed that. I've never noticed that. I never noticed any shadows or anything like that from a play or from our player.
Wait, really?
And right now I can't test it because it's not nighttime. Quantum compression, is that like it's compressed and it's uncompressed all at the same time?
Is that right up there with Schrodinger's cat?
But yeah, I guess that could explain our state of being in this game. I mean, yeah, we're quantum. We exist, but we don't exist. I mean, see? Where am I? I'm not standing on my ship, but I am standing on my ship.
I'm here, but I'm nowhere.
The Raider.
We found that one.
From Battlestar Galactica.
Find your tie.
That is not the bad guy ship I'm looking for. There's a Griffon flying around. Very popular ship. Was the first ship I did with the Tron plasma scrolling effect. Worked on it right at the end of Pathfinder, and I don't think I got it out before they updated to Atlas.
Oh, it compresses you uber tiny into the little Snitch ship.
And that could actually be easily explainable. I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of magic that the Snitch has.
We all got stuck in that little machine on that one movie, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. We all just took it to that little shrinkage machine. And you just don't know it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Golden Atlas is talking about, yeah, if you use the torch and then use photo mode to kind of illuminate that light, you can see where your point of origin as a player is. And I do believe, yeah, that's just a point of origin, though. That's a light locator being called at a certain coordinate. I don't think that's actually a player model. Then again, I guess if a light could be referenced, then we should be able to load a model, right? If a light can be referenced, a model can be referenced.
Alright, Interceptor. Exactly.
Alright, on to the next system. I don't think the Interceptor is here. Yes, there is a lot of empty space between atoms. And even parts of the atom. And we're still trying to figure out why. We just not too recently found the quark, so I'm sure they won't find it in our lifetime, but
See, told
someday.
you. That's what I just told you. They all went into the machine on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and they all got tiny, super small. And I told you that's just what I said.
And now Natalie has my wife chewing me about how she was right about it was the Honey I Shrunk the Kids thing. So yeah,
Told you.
if you heard her in the background, that's what that was about. She doesn't get to tell you "I told you so" very often, so when she gets to, she makes sure to.
Oh, I need a nap or coffee.
I hope to find this Interceptor, and then when I do, I'm gonna hop in it so I can show off the custom cockpit,
And then go find some red dots.
and then maybe go find red dots, or maybe just go eat lunch.
We can eat lunch after we find some red dots.
I do like some of the vanilla fighters in the game, but for the rest of the vanilla ships, it kind of missed the mark. I actually remember having that conversation with you before, Natalie, about the UFO that you've seen. And ironically enough, the bottom of the one I made is kind of like the one I saw. Not quite, but close. There's no pulsating lights. And I'm also not sure what the shape or hull of the ship looked like. I could only see the lights coming off of it. And that's what Golden Atlas is talking about. How my torch will still be there even though I'm not really there. Oh, looks like I've got to fix that.
It's not spinning?
Yeah, see the effects in those three, but it's missing from that one. So I got to fix that.
No good.
And this is why we test.
Oh, which one was that?
That was the X-Wing. We've already marked that off. There's an exotic.
But that's not the tie that we're looking for.
Oh, I wish I could give my ship some animations. Another Krant. Another blue Krant. This one with a different windshield. The Yeti and the X-Wing. I think there's enough ships here. I'm not going to find the Interceptor. An Astro A10 headset. If it's anything as good as the Warthog, the A10 Warthog, that should be a pretty good headset.
Whatever it was had an engine block.
going on to a Gex system, a G0, a young star.
So that one you need to fix, and that one you need to fix. And this one we need to find.
Alright guys, I think I'm going to give it maybe about another 15 minutes here. If I can't find the Interceptor, I'm going to probably break for lunch, and I'll find that on my own. No real sense in streaming for who knows how long for one ship.
You know you're going to find it the second you're done streaming. As soon as you're done streaming.
Yeah, and I will probably find it within 5 minutes of concluding the stream, so there's that too. See, that's what I was intending the hex screen to be like. Just a little there, not overpowering. Nothing like this right here.
Or a simulation, find a simulation.
But this is, the sun is reflecting straight off the screen. That's why it's as bad as it is.
Actually, we're in some kid's snow globe sitting on their shelf. I was doing a simulation. Actually, we're in some kid's snow globe sitting on their shelf.
And to your simulation in a simulation comment, my wife says, for all we know, we could be sitting on some guy's shelf as a snow globe. But that's kind of how I've always thought flat earthers thought we lived. You know, they figure we got a glass dome keeping us from getting into space, and we live on a flat surface. That's a snow dome, right? Or a snow globe? I mean,
that's why it makes a really awesome joke. I don't know. No one knows.
I did it! I scanned the ship while it was flying.
Is that the last one?
No. That's just the Millennium Falcon.
Get me all excited like that, like I get to cross it off and, oh no.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm tired.
One of the best things I did for this mod was to add the custom cockpit to the Millennium Falcon. That definitely gives it more of a realistic feel. Well, not realistic, but it makes it feel more like you're flying the Millennium Falcon instead of a No Man's Sky ship.
Are you flying that now?
Just hopping in to show off the cockpit real quick. The joystick, the throttle control, the yoke isn't textured, but whatever. If you're spending that much time trying to get that yoke into view, you're not really playing No Man's Sky anyways. And the screens work really well when they pinch out under acceleration, and they're still fairly usable when standing still.
how's your other ship that you originally had when you got it?
Natalie says Red Moss is trying to get us to unite some of our mods in the Old Republic chat. You mean like the Star Wars Old Republic, the game? Whoa! Well, that's interesting. I don't know how that happened.
It just melted through the floor. That was awesome.
That was weird.
Watch it, see if it does weird. That was funny.
Natalie says we are a simulation playing a simulation, and there could be truth in that. Even Obama's science advisor thought we were part of a simulation. If you look at how everything's governed by specific laws of physics and governed by rules and preset functions and rules. You know, people are made by DNA helixes and chromosomes, and depending on how that stuff is sequenced, determines the makeup of that individual. It's not something random. It's not something chaotic. It's something precise. So there's reasons to believe, but at the same time, who knows? Natalie, thank you for coming by. Have a great lunch, and we'll talk later. Turbomaster says, I love how you've added some Star Wars spaceships. I do appreciate that, thank you. Not everybody loves them, but I'm trying to give a little bit of something for everybody in this mod. I've had some people tell me they're gonna pass on using my mod simply just because there are Star Wars ships in it. And if that's how they feel, that's
their choice.
That's their option. That's their opinion.
You can pass it, take it, leave it. It's okay.
I just think it's kind of foolish. I can ignore the ships that I don't like, and I can buy the ones that I do. I don't understand why they can't. But I have plenty of more Star Wars ships to go as well. I'm going to be adding the A-Wing, the B-Wing, trying for the Slave 1, but because we don't have animations, I'm not going to be able to make it land like the Slave 1 does. Instead, it's going to have to land vertically, kind of like it flies. I've got some Jedi ships, a Phantom, a bomber. I've got the Imperial ship, the three-wing ship that kind of looks like the exotics. I've got some more TIE fighters. Yeah, the Star Wars list is big, and I've got more to go. And speaking of Star Wars ships, that's the last one we're looking for right now, is the TIE Interceptor. Miku. Turbomaster says, wow, thank you. That is the response I was going for. You know, right now I'm upgrading the mod from 16 ships to 32 ships. So I was hoping for a wow factor. Ultimately, in the end, I'd like to be able to break over 100 ships in this mod. Yes, it will be a very large mod, but like I said, I'm going for that wow factor. Very pretty sunset in the desert, or sunrise in the desert.
Sunset. Yeah, we're a little backwards. You know it's our bedtime.
Yeah, I believe it was Forrest Gump that said, "When you're in the desert, I couldn't tell where the sunrise began or where it ends."
Yeah, you're my dork. Mwah.
Of course, it's kind of hard to tell where it begins and where it ends when it's using a light box too. So there's that.
What is it?
It's hiding.
Babe, come out. Wake it up.
And while we have some Star Wars stuff, we also have some Star Trek stuff. Here's the Shuttle Type 9. And I've got a Griffon class warp fighter. Or Griffon... Yeah, Griffon class warp fighter. I believe that's how it was titled. This is going to be my wife's favorite ship, just because it's purple.
Okay. It looks like a bug right there.
The back of it kind of reminds me of Johnny Five from Short Circuit.
Johnny Five.
Johnny Five, I'm alive! Alright, I guess I'll try one more system here. And then I'm going to call it a wrap.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, my wife is going to pick this system.
Which one do I get to choose from? Which one do I get to choose from? Any star?
Any of the ones you see here?
Okay. This one.
That one?
Yep. I picked a good.
We got a hidden moon behind that planet.
Oh, nice. I didn't pick a good one, did I? Ooh! There's a trading post. It might be...
Yeah,
Something
we're
after
on our
this,
way.
yeah.
45 seconds to go.
That's some serious bonding time.
Serious bonding time.
Serious.
I could have like 3 different topics with my 10-second delay and still not be there by the time. Oh yeah.
Oi? Just that one, huh?
Ray Rod's overhaul actually does reduce or does scale down the size of the system, so it's not so far between planets. That makes it kind of nice.
So it speeds up time?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
So instead of being 45 seconds, I probably would have only had a 10, 15-second flight,
Oh, sweet.
if that. coming in hot.
Wow, I think
This looks like a Star Wars planet.
Wow.
Oh, why'd you have to be the advanced? I got my hopes up for a second. I thought I saw the TIE Interceptor. And I was fooled. But the landscape definitely seems like something I'd see out of Star Wars.
What's that big giant blue thing?
That?
Yeah.
Iridium.
Oh.
There's the Falcon Flyer. I believe this came from Super Smash Brothers on the Super Nintendo. Gave it some of my glowing effects that match the eyes. Whatever color the eyes generate, system to system, that's what color the glow will be. A little bit of VTOL on that ship as well. Vertical takeoff and lift. Alright guys, I don't think the TIE Interceptor wants to be found right now. So I'm going to be calling this a wrap. The mod looks well. And as soon as I get the jellyfish and the X-Wing fixed the way I like it, I'll find this TIE Interceptor. I will have this mod updated and released. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And have a good one.